Hi, girls, it's Mrs. Robinson. Today we are going to review how to use an open number line to help us solve number stories. So let's say that I had a story and it went something like this. Mrs. Robinson had 14 pencils. Then she went out and bought 23 more pencils. How many pencils does Mrs. Robinson have now? Well, I can use a number line to help me solve that problem. The first thing I'm going to do is write my equation. So I started with 14 pencils, and then I went out and bought 23 more pencils. And I'm trying to figure out how many pencils I have all together. So my number equation would look like this. 14 plus 23 equals how many? So I can use an open number line to find my answer. I'm going to draw my straight line, which is already on the screen for you. And I'm going to start my number line with my very first number, 14. So inside my box, I'm going to put the number 14. Now, I need to make some hops on my number line. The number of pencils I went out and bought, 23, is going to represent how many hops I need to make. So I'm going to show my first hop. And a good way to break down my hops is to break down how many tens and how many ones I have. So in the number 23, I have 2 tens. So I'm going to make one hop of 10. If I make one hop of 10 from the number 14, I land at the number 24. I'm going to make another hop of 10. If I was at 24 and I add 10 more, now I have landed at the number 34. So far I've made 2 hops of 10. That's a total of 20. I need to go 23 total hops, so I need to hop 3 more. So I'm going to do a hop of 3. And if I was at 34 and I add 3 more to it, I am now at 37. I'm going to go back and check, did I make the right number of hops? I have 10 plus 10 more is 20 plus 3 more is 23. I have hopped 23 hops. My starting number was 14. Let's pull up my little drawing tool and let's remind ourselves. The 14 was my starting number, and that is where I start my open number line. The 23 represents how many hops I need to make. Here are my hops that add up to 23. The 37 is where I land after I make those 23 hops. So I now have 37 pencils. Let's try it with another one. Let's say that Mrs. Robinson went home and she saw that Juliana had 15 containers of slime. And then her daughter, Caitlin, came home with 12 more containers of slime. And she needed to know how many total containers of slime she had. So I could start my number model. So Juliana had 12 containers of slime, and Caitlin had 15 containers of slime. And I want to know how many containers of slime have now been coming to my house. So there's my number model. 12 plus 15 equals something. So I need to start my open number line with my very first number, which is 12. So, oops, I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to start it with the number 12. And then I have to make hops. Now remember, that second number in my number model, 15, tells me how many hops I need to make. So I'm going to break it down into how many tens and how many ones I have. In the number 15, I have 1 10 and I have 5 ones. So I'm going to start with a hop of 10. So I'm going to label my hop with plus 10. And if I was at 12 and I hopped 10, I would land at 22. Now I have to hop 5 more. I can make 5 single hops, or I can make a hop of 5. I'm going to put plus 5 to show that I'm hopping 5. And if I was at 22 and I hop 5 more, I'm now at 27. So let's get my drawing tool up here. Remember, my first number, 12, is where I start on the number line. The 15 represents how many hops I have to make. And the 27, where I landed, tells me how many containers of slime I now have in my house.